Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 2. This is your full-time match reaction from Selhurst Park on this Sunday afternoon, where Manchester United have come from behind 1-2-1 at Crystal Palace through two Bruno Fernandes assists to get Joshua Zirkzee and Mason Mount's first goals of the Premier League season. A masterclass from Bruno Fernandes in the second half. Obviously, is now gone above Paul Scholes on assists of all time on Manchester United's list, but Manchester United have 1-2-1 at Crystal Palace, and to be honest with you, it might not have been the prettiest of games, it might not have been the prettiest of results, but Manchester United have come away with all 3 points today. We are now up to 6th in the Premier League table. It's looking a lot better than what it did on Monday. It might not have been the prettiest of games, it might not have been the prettiest of performances from Manchester United, but we have come from behind and 1-2-1 at Selhurst Park, which is always a very, very tough place to go. We finally have our first win at Selhurst Park for the first time in 5 years, so it's been a long 5 years for this football club to get 3 points at Crystal Palace. Obviously, we all know how tricky it is away from home at Selhurst Park, but I do believe in the second half that we do deserve to win this game. We do deserve the 3 points, especially how shit we were in the first half. I think when we went 1-0 down, I absolutely feared the worst. I thought the floodgates were going to open, and I thought there's no way we're going to be able to come from behind and win this game and rescue 3 points. But fair play to Bruno Fernandes. I think without him in that second half, we probably don't win that game. We don't get those 2 goals, and obviously he's now gone above Paul Scholes on the all-time assists record table at Manchester United Football Club. So fair play to Bruno Fernandes for stepping up inside that second half and getting those 2 assists. And obviously, fair play to Joshua Zirkzee and Mason Mount for getting their first goals of the Premier League season as well. Because without their 2 goals, we don't win this game today and we walk away with back-to-back defeats. And obviously, it kind of puts Monday behind us. It has been a good weekend for us. The result has gone our way. So I don't think we've really got anything to complain about. I think Manchester United can be happy with their second half display. I don't think we did a lot wrong. I think we dominated that second half, to be honest with you. Crystal Palace didn't exactly create a lot of chances on our goal to increase their lead. And I think Manchester United knew they had to rescue that game, because I think another defeat and making it back-to-back defeats would have been an absolute disaster for this football club. And I think Ruben Amorim would have been under a hell of a lot of pressure tonight if we wouldn't have won this game. So we've walked away with 3 points and we finally have our first win at Selhurst Park for the first time in 5 years. So it's been a long 5 years, but it was an exhausting first half performance. When we went 1-0 down, like I said, I feared the worst. I did not know how Manchester United were going to rescue that game. I thought we were really, really going to struggle to rescue even a draw, to be honest with you, because of how lacklustre we were in that first half. I mean, we could have been 1-0 up. We could have been 1-0 up inside 43 seconds if Casemiro would have put that chance in early on against Dean Henderson. But obviously, you've got Dean Henderson waxing lyrical on what a fantastic save it was to deny Casemiro. And again, like Alan McCoy said on the TNT Sports commentating booth, that should have gone in. That should have been 1-0, and we probably could have been winning at half-time if Casemiro would have converted that chance. But I don't think it's even that of a good save. I mean, it's an easy chance for Casemiro. It is a tap-in that really should have gone into the back of the net. But again, you've got Dean Henderson waxing lyrical on what a fantastic save it was. And I'm not being disrespectful to Dean Henderson. You're an ex-Manchester United reject. You're at Crystal Palace for a reason. You're not even that of a good goalkeeper. So I don't even know why he's waxing lyrical over the save he made to deny Casemiro, because it basically would have been a tap-in anyway. So again, it is a good save, but I wouldn't say it's a world-class save. It was straight at the goalkeeper. And I'm going to be really honest with you, if we go 1-0 up in that situation, we probably would have won that game quite comfortably. I mean, 43 seconds in, to have a chance that early on, it's quite annoying. It's very, very frustrating that we didn't convert that chance, because that chance was there to be taken. But again, we can't keep relying on the midfield to deliver us the goals that we need. We are missing Sesko. We are missing Matthias Cunha. I think not having both of them at the team in a minute is causing quite a lot of issues and causing us quite a lot of problems, because we can't really attack the opposition as it currently stands, which is majorly frustrating, because I think we could create quite a few more chances if we had both of them available to us, because all of a sudden, when we don't have Sesko in the team, we start putting the ball inside the opposition penalty area, which is majorly frustrating because when Sesko is in the team, we don't like to get the ball into the box, which is very, very confusing. So I do still feel we are missing Sesko. I feel we're missing Matthias Cunha. And obviously, when we went 1-0 down, it is very, very frustrating because, again, I rate Leny Yoro, don't get me wrong. I think Leny Yoro is a world-class centre-back. I think, again, he is still quite young. He will make mistakes. He will cause us issues because of how young he is. But I do expect a lot better from a centre-back that we did pay quite a lot of money for. I mean, Leny Yoro is meant to be this world-class centre-back and is meant to be the centre-back to take us forward. But the mistake he makes to concede the penalty is very, very naive. Like, you don't go sliding in and hacking down the opposition players in your own penalty area. You need to know better. And obviously, you have got the right to go for the ball. You have got the right to put a tackle in. But when you completely mistime the tackle and give away a penalty, which is a stonewall penalty, I don't think Leny Yoro or Manchester United can have too many complaints. When Palace get that penalty awarded, if you look back at the replays, it is a stonewall penalty. We can't really complain about that situation. But I think the thing that we can complain about is the Mateta penalty. Obviously, the first one gets ruled out by VAR because there is a double touch on the ball. There is a double touch on that ball. And obviously, the first penalty gets ruled out by VAR because he has double tapped the ball with both feet. So obviously, the rules have been changed. The rules have been reset for that type of thing that happens in the game of football. But what I don't agree with is the penalty that is then allowed to be retaken. In that situation, if Mateta has double tapped the ball, which he clearly has, it is quite tight. It is quite close. If you look at the replays from the first denied penalty from the spot, which did go in, if you look back at the replay, it's very, very hard to tell if he did double tap that ball with both feet. It is a very, very hard angle to look at, and it is quite close. It is quite tight. But again, if he knows he's done that, I don't understand why the rules have been changed. If he's done that deliberately to put that ball in the net, then why should that penalty be allowed to be retaken? Because you theoretically have committed a foul there. If you've double tapped the ball, surely that penalty shouldn't be allowed to be retaken. And I think, in my opinion, we didn't really deserve to be 1-0 down. If that ball has been double tapped, we really should have not had that penalty retaken. That really should have been given as a free kick to us, and we could have not have been 1-0 down in that moment. So I think the Mateta penalty and the decision making and the rules behind the double tap of the ball is an absolute joke. Because if he has double tapped the ball, which he clearly has with both feet, then that penalty really should not have been allowed to be retaken in the first place. And I think, in my opinion, in my view, we are very, very unfortunate to go 1-0 down there. Because, again, I don't think the penalty should be retaken. I think Mateta has known what he's done. He's clearly tried to cheat to get that ball to go into the back of our net. So, in my opinion, that penalty should not be allowed to be retaken. That goal should not stand, which it didn't anyway. But to then re-award the penalty and allow him to retake it, I think is a little bit of a joke. Because we wouldn't have been 1-0 down. Because you have cheated in that moment to try and get your team 1-0 up. So if Mateta's done that deliberately, which I think he has, he should not be allowed to be retaking that penalty, in my opinion. But it's only my opinion. Maybe being 1-0 down give you momentum to go on and win. Exactly. Liam Walters does make a good point in the live chat. Maybe going 1-0 down does give them momentum to go on and win that game. And again, I feel sorry for Leny Yoro, but again, he's going to have to learn from his mistakes. He's going to have to learn from that moment that cost us that 1-0 deficit, because he shouldn't be going hacking down the opposition players inside your own penalty area. Again, it's because we give the ball away, we can't really control possession, and one Adam Wharton pass absolutely slides open our midfield and absolutely slides open our back three, which is a major, major frustration. Like, Adam Wharton is a fantastic Crystal Palace midfielder. He's a fantastic footballer, and one pass has completely undone our back three and has completely undone our midfield too, especially when you've got Bruno Fernandes playing in a deeper line midfield role, and you've got Casemiro also in that role as well. So it doesn't really help when we're playing a midfield two every week. I do feel we do need to switch this formation. Again, I don't understand why Ruben Amorim is still sticking with the 3-4-3. I want to go back to playing a 4-3-3 instead. That's the formation and the setup I want this football club to use. But obviously Ruben Amorim, we all know, is quite stubborn. We know Ruben Amorim won't change the system if he doesn't want to, if he doesn't feel like it's going to benefit us. But in that moment, when you're 1-0 down, you have to change something. And we are very, very lucky that we didn't go 2 or 3-0 down. Because I think it was either that De Ligt slipped and Nketiah was through one-on-one on our goal. If that momentum carries on with Nketiah and he doesn't lose the ball and lose control of the touch, that probably ends up as 2-0 and we're probably game, set and match there. I don't think we would have been able to even rescue that game if we went 2 or 3-0 down. So I think Manchester United are going to be very, very lucky that Nketiah fucked up that chance he had for himself to make it 2-0. Because I think Nketiah got brought on for Sarr, because Sarr went off injured early inside that first half. So I think if Nketiah's run carried on and the momentum he had went full guns blazing, we probably would have gone 2-0 down. Our back three doesn't work, I'm afraid. I think playing a back three, we've seen it time and time again, that this back three is not strong enough. Again, Yoro is at fault for the penalty because he slides in on Mateta to give the penalty away. So I think Lenny Yoro is very, very lucky that Bruno Fernandes, Joshua Zirkzee and Mason Mount have got him out of jail today. I think he's a very, very lucky guy, because I think if we lose that game, people would have jumped on Lenny Yoro quite a lot tonight. I think Yoro's a very, very lucky boy that we've managed to rescue that game and get those 3 points. Because at the end of the day, if we lose this game, it's back-to-back defeats. We would have still been 12th by the end of today's results anyway. So I think, again, Lenny Yoro, the mistake he's made is a massive, massive mistake. You don't go down hacking players inside your own box. You've got to be learning from those mistakes. And people will say he is still quite young. He's still got quite a bit of development to go with. But you should be knowing better than doing that inside your own box and giving away a Stonewall penalty, because you can't deny it is a penalty. If that would have happened to our players inside their box, I would have said it's a Stonewall penalty. So we can't really complain about the Palace goal. We can't put any complaints on it. They do deserve that 1-0 lead, but I just don't agree on the decision that awarding a penalty that shouldn't have been allowed to be retaken because there was a double touch on the ball. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that's fair, and in my view, I think that's cheating, in my opinion, to allow Mateta to retake that penalty. But again, we managed to turn it round in that second half, which is the massive, massive positive, because that first half was really, really shit. Those first 30 minutes was an utter load of dog shit. Like, I couldn't believe how bad we actually were in that first half, especially where we basically made a few changes to that team. We took Mazraoui out, put Ahmad in at right wing back, and we've then still got then Dalot at left wing back, which again, even Ruben Amorim's comments has said Diego Dalot isn't having the best of times at the moment and isn't really showing the form. I mean, I don't know what Ruben Amorim has been watching, but I think Ruben Amorim needs to really start realising that, come on now. Diego Dalot has never been that good. Diego Dalot isn't one of those players that's really going to give you much in terms of a defensive job or gives you anything going forward. And again, Diego Dalot is playing at left wing back. He is playing out of position, which again doesn't really make any sense, really. I don't understand why we continue with a back three of Luke Shaw, De Ligt and Yoro, where I don't feel like that back three is strong enough to go with. Because I feel like, in my opinion, Luke Shaw is a big issue in that team. He's not a centre-back, he's a left-back, and he's a left wing-back. So I don't understand, again, why Luke Shaw has got a place inside that back three. Because, in my opinion, I think Shaw needs to be out the team instead of being in the team. You've got a stronger centre-back option on your bench that you could use. Again, Martinez has been back since Everton, and he's only seen about 10 minutes of football today, which is a major frustration, because I know they're not trying to take any risks. I know they're trying to take precautions so Martinez doesn't pick up any more injuries, because I think if Martinez gets injured again, he's going to be out for another 8-9 months, and that possibly could finish his United career off. So I feel like a back three of Yoro, De Ligt and Martinez would be a lot stronger, because you have got two leaders inside that back three, and that would give Yoro a bit more stability and a bit more confidence knowing who he's got next to him. I don't think Yoro has got any confidence at the moment in that team. He looks very, very uncomfortable. He is making quite a few mistakes. And again, we paid a lot of money for Leny Yoro. I still think he'll come good. I still think Yoro's a good player. There's still a good player in there. I'm just annoyed by the mistake he made today that cost us that 1-0 deficit, because that could have been prevented if he wouldn't have done what he did. But again, that's down to learning on the job. That's down to, a lack of confidence. That's down to going in rash where you could have done a better decision making in that moment to not concede that penalty. But again, Leny Yoro is still quite young. He's still quite a versatile centre-back. So he is going to make mistakes. He is going to make errors that cost us games and cost us results. But I would say if Leny Yoro does keep making them, then do you drop him out the team? Do you put Martinez back in and play a back three of Martinez, De Ligt and Luke Shaw? I'm not exactly sure if that's the right way to go. I think you've got to stick with Leny Yoro for now, but I think if he keeps making many more mistakes and he's giving away decisions that are going to be given as a Stonewall penalty, then you've got to get Leny Yoro out of that situation to prevent his career falling off, really. And I think if Maguire gets back quite quickly, I think Maguire will probably go back into the team as well, and probably Yoro might be ditched to the bench. I'm not 100% sure, but I felt with Leny Yoro, especially when he got taken off in the second half, you could tell there's a player there really, really struggling for confidence. I think he knows he's had no choice but to be taken off, in my opinion, because he has made that mistake. And I think Ruben Amorim wanted to try something a little bit different in that second half again, which I didn't really get, because we then decided to chuck Mazraoui inside our back three. And again, Mazraoui is a right wing back. He's a right back. And again, he's been chucked in at centre back with De Ligt and Luke Shaw, which again is probably down to tactics and the way Ruben Amorim is setting us all up. Playing a 3-4-3 puts so many players out of position, and it puts this team on a backward step. But I think he had to change something in that second half, because based on the first half, what did we do? What did we create? We had 2 good chances on goal inside the first 10 minutes, which if United convert those 2 chances, we probably win this game quite comfortably. Palace were there for the taking in the first half, I would say. I felt like Palace really, really are struggling with Thursday, Sunday football at the moment, because obviously they are in the Europa Conference League. So I think Palace are really, really struggling to adapt now to that momentum week in, week out, playing a Thursday, Sunday. And I probably don't think the early kickoff helped them either, because I think Palace probably would have been quite tired from their European performance on Sunday, because I think they played Strasbourg in France and they lost 2-1. So I don't think, obviously, all that travels helped them. And then, obviously, this early kickoff today's probably not benefited them either. But again, if you look at that Palace team, the only real threat they had was Mateta. And that's about it from that Palace team. I don't see Palace as that good of a team, to be honest with you. They're having a good season. Don't get me wrong. Crystal Palace are having a good season. They've achieved quite a good few set of points so far. And they've had some good results as well. But I think the European thing now is really, really starting to hurt them. And I think without a few more additions to that Palace team, I think Palace could really struggle. I don't think they're going to go down. I don't think they're in danger of getting relegated. But you can tell their main player that they go to is Mateta. Mateta's really their only decent threat on the United goal, if I'm going to be really, really honest with you. And again, he gets the Palace goal, which again is quite controversial, because we've discussed the penalty situation. Should he have been allowed to retake it? I don't think that penalty should have been allowed anyway, because again, the double touch on the ball from the first attempt on the penalty spot is a foul committed by that Palace player. But then to be allowed to retake it is a little bit of a confusing one. I don't think you should be allowed to retake it. If you fouled the ball with a double touch, you really should be given a second opportunity on goal to convert again from the penalty spot. But that is my opinion. That's my view. I think, in terms of a decision being made to be allowed to retake that penalty, I don't think is very fair. Because if he knows what he's done, and he knows obviously he has double touched the ball, then in my opinion, in my view, that penalty should not be allowed to be retaken. That penalty gets ruled out, and the opposition, aka Manchester United, get awarded a free kick for that mistake from Mateta. But again, they probably did deserve to go 1-0 up. They probably did deserve to go 1-0 up in that moment. And I think soon as we went 1-0 down, I just didn't see any way back. I didn't see any way back. I thought the floodgates were going to open. I thought Palace, if they find a second goal, we are going to really, really struggle to turn this game around. But you've got to be very, very thankful that Bruno Fernandes delivered in that second half, because without the 2 assists, we don't get those 2 goals. And Xerxes doesn't get a goal. Mount doesn't get a goal. And it's 2 fantastic finishes, by the way. You can't take anything away from the 2 goals that we have scored. The finishes are fantastic. The first goal from Xerxes is, again, a brilliant ball from Fernandes. And the twist and the turn on the shot on goal from Xerxes is a good finish. It is a very, very good finish. Again, I'm not Joshua Xerxes' biggest fan. A lot of people know that. But hopefully that goal he got today will do him the world of good. It will really, really help his confidence now that he's got that goal. And that was Xerxes' first goal since December last year. So it's nearly been a year wait since Xerxes found the net. So it's been a long, long time coming for Joshua Xerxes. But again, that's because we've been stuck with Rasmus Højlund, and obviously we've now got Sesko. So Xerxes' game time in this squad is quite limited. So obviously the opportunity he's got at the moment, he needs to take that, and hopefully he will build on the confidence with the goal that he's got today, because the twist and the turn and the finish on Jordan Henderson's goal, it's a fantastic finish. You can't take anything away from the goal that he scores to get us back on level terms. And I think that really, really helped the momentum. The free kick we got lucky. What wall was that? Exactly. I think, obviously, the second United goal, I don't know what the Crystal Palace wall's thinking. Like, there's so many people jumping in and out that Palace wall that there's a big, massive gap been left by so many of those Palace players. And the assist from Bruno and the momentum from Fernandes and Mount to see that gap in that wall is an absolute fantastic, fantastic bit of set-piece work. Because as soon as you leave a gap in a wall, you're then going to spot that gap and then you're going to go for it. And the shot and the power that Mason Mount gets from the Fernandes assist from the resulting free kick is a fantastic, fantastic goal. What went wrong in the first half? We was awful. Yeah, we was awful. Like, you can't take anything away. The second half was miles better than that first half. It was miles better. And I don't know why we were that shit in that first half. It's very, very hard to pinpoint why that first half went so wrong. I think it's because I think the formation we're playing isn't working. I think the 3-4-3 has been massively, massively figured out. But both the Palace manager and Ruben Amorim both play a 3-4-3 setup. We play exactly the same formation. We play exactly the same tactics. Both teams set up exactly the same way. So you've got each player, one another, up against each other. And I think that's why we really struggled in that first half, because both teams are playing that 3-4-3 setup. We're playing exactly the same formation. So that's probably why that first half was quite shit. But it doesn't cover up on why we really, really struggled in that game. Mazraoui needs to start from now on. Ahmad needs to be higher up. Martinez, Yora de Ligt as our centre-back from now. West Ham have scored, according to Adam. Apparently West Ham have gone 1-0 up against Liverpool. If you're new to my TikTok, please give me a follow, smash that like button, would really appreciate it. I am just checking. Apparently West Ham have just scored. I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently West Ham have just scored. I don't know how true that is. I don't know, because I actually haven't checked the results. It's 0-0. Yeah, I think the first half I don't think the first half was any good. I really, really panicked when we went 1-0 down, especially those first 30 minutes. We were bloody awful. We were so bad in that second half. I think Manchester United have got away with it today. I do feel like we have massively, massively gotten away with it. I think the second goal that Palace concede is probably the worst out of about the 2 United goals. Because obviously, look at that Palace wall from the resulting Fernandes assist from the set piece, from the free kick. Look at the amount of Palace players jumping in and out of that wall, and look at the gap that Mason Mount spots. But look at the power and look at the position from that free kick. It is a great assist by Fernandes, by the way. At least we didn't see a Fernandes shot. Because I think if Fernandes would have taken that free kick on himself, we probably wouldn't have scored that goal. So, in my opinion and in my view, I'm glad Fernandes decided to think about the team and not just himself, because it is a great goal, it is a great finish, and it's a great bit of set-piece work from Manchester United to find that goal to go 2-1 up. I think when we got it back to 1-1, it really helped the momentum, it really helped the confidence, because I think Crystal Palace were there for the taking in that second half. Palace did not start that second half well. Crystal Palace really struggled. And I think the reason why Palace really struggled, I think when they took Sarr off, they didn't really have that option on that right wing to really attack United's back four. I did notice that quite a lot. Without Sarr in that team, Palace really struggled to get at that United back four and to attack it. So maybe that might have been an issue from Crystal Palace in that second half, because as soon as Sarr went off, I felt like Palace went off a little bit. It felt like Palace's attacking options were just completely gone out the window. So I feel like, in my opinion, in my view, I think without Sarr in that Palace team, Liverpool really struggle. Liverpool really. So I think, I think Palace really struggled in that second half. I think Palace really struggled to get anything attacking wise going. And that could be because they were tired. That could be because they are now getting really they're getting really laggy because they're having to play Thursday, Sunday. And I'm not trying to say that as an excuse, but if you look at that Palace performance in the second half, they were nowhere as good as what they were in that first half. They created much. You were telling me Xerxes is terrible last stream. Well, Xerxes had a good game today. Xerxes did have a good game because he has scored a very good goal. Xerxes was bad last game. Xerxes didn't really do anything to help us in that Everton game, but he's massively helped us today, which is a positive, and I'm hoping that momentum is going to help him from now on, because he's now got a longer start in this team because of Sesko's injury. So I'm hoping that confidence, he'll be able to build on that now with the goal that he's got today. So I'm really hoping Xerxes is going to go up another level. Xerxes always plays well, but is downgraded due to playing out of position all the time. Yeah, it's very true. It's the same with Bruno, same with many players. Xerxes can't play up front alone. I agree with you. Yeah, exactly. I think Xerxes doesn't play well when he doesn't get the service, and I think Xerxes really struggles to play down the middle because he's had his game time limited by the arrival of Sesko, because Sesko's always in the team quite a lot, starting down the middle for Manchester United. And again, obviously it's the same with Bruno. Bruno Fernandes is playing a deeper line midfield role because we are playing this midfield too, and we're playing two wing backs. Again, I want to play a 4-3-3. That's the formation that I want to go with and the setup I want this club to go forward with. But obviously Ruben Amorim is going to stick to his principles. He's not going to change it. And if he thinks this formation is going to benefit us long term, then you're going to have to back Ruben Amorim as much as possible. But if it does start going wrong again in the next few games, then Ruben Amorim will get pelters. Ruben Amorim will get criticised if the results then go pear-shaped again. Because we've got West Ham on Thursday night, so we've got to build on the momentum that we've got today. We take that into Thursday night and we beat West Ham at Old Trafford. Because I don't want the results to start going up and down again. We have to carry on with the momentum and the positivity that we've got out that result today. And I think the one reason why Crystal Palace are struggling is because they're tired. I think a lot of those Palace players, I think the Thursday night football's catching up with them. Again, I'm not trying to use that as an excuse, but it might be. Very good result today. First half was shaky, but got it in the end. We need to go beat West Ham on Thursday. Exactly. I completely agree with CR in the live chat. Afi has said Mark the word Sesko and Højlund will cook next season. If you are new to my TikTok, give me a follow. Smash the like button. Would really appreciate it. And welcome to everybody that's new in the live chat and watching this live match reaction. Hope you guys are all enjoying it. I think obviously Palace are struggling. You can tell Palace are really struggling. I think, like I said, I think the Europa Conference League and playing a Premier League game on Sunday is really starting to catch up with them. And I think that's probably down to a lot of fatigue and a lot of tiredness in those Crystal Palace legs. Palace were not the same team they were in that first half, but they should have taken us to the cleaners. Palace had multiple opportunities to make that game a lot more of a convincing result from their point of view. And I think if they would have buried us in that first half, the game would have been over anyway. Sunderland will win the league, Arsenal to fall in December is normal. God help us without Mbeumo and Ahmad. Exactly, CR again has made a very, very good point. Henry's just said, looks solid to be fair in the second half, however, making too many mistakes. Blue0910 said, what a win. If you're new to my TikTok, by the way, smash that like button. Please give me a follow. It's great to have this live audience in the live chat today for this match reaction. Yeah, we are going to struggle without Ahmad. We are going to struggle without Mbeumo. That's a very, very good point that CR has made there. When Ahmad and Mbeumo go off to the African Cup of Nations, we are really, really going to struggle. Because I think Mazraoui, we also lose Mazraoui because he's Moroccan. So we are going to lose him in January as well. So we're going to lose 3 key players in January, which could be a big, big problem. Henry said we look solid, to be fair, in the second half. However, we are making too many mistakes. We are making the mistakes because players are out of position and players that we do have can't do that role week in, week out. And that's the problem by playing this 3-4-3. Players are out of position, like Diego Dalot, Mazraoui, Luke Shaw. There's three or 4 players playing out of position in that team today, which is a big, big problem, which I don't think is going to benefit us long term. Have you seen the Semenyo links? I think with the Semenyo links, I would hold fire on what's going to happen with Semenyo. I still feel like he's going to end up at Liverpool. I don't think Semenyo is going to end up as a Manchester United player. I don't think Semenyo will end up at United. I've got a funny feeling he's going to end up at Liverpool because Liverpool probably going to try and get that deal done in January pretty quickly, especially with a £65 million release clause. Today, it's every week they play out of position. Exactly. Clips for you has said, today, it's every week they're playing out of position. Exactly, which is a big, big problem. Clips is absolutely right, though. He has just made a very, very good point. We are playing so many players out of position every week. It's not just today. It's not just Monday. It's like this every week. Luke Shaw is in at centre-back, he's out of position. He's a left-back. It's the same for Mazraoui today. He's been put in at centre-back when he's a right wing-back. It's the same for Dalot. He's not a left wing-back. He's a right-back and a right wing-back. So that's 3 players already out of position. It's the same for Bruno Fernandes because he's a deep line role midfielder, which again is being played out of position, which doesn't benefit our midfield. But again, if you looked at that I reckon our starting 11 front 3 would have been good with Mbeumo, Bruno and Mount. See, I think the team should have been today. If I was picking that team today, and I was picking my starting 11, my starting 11 would have been Lamens in goal, De Ligt, Martinez, Yoro back 3. I would have played Luke Shaw at left wing back. I would have had Ahmad at right wing back. I would have played 2 number 10s with Mount and Fernandes. I probably would have put Mbeumo. No, I can't drop Mbeumo. I probably would have played 2 wing backs with Mazraoui, Ahmad at right wing back, Luke Shaw at left wing back, back 3, De Ligt, Martinez, Yoro. My midfield 2 would have been Mainu and Agate. I would have played Fernandes and Mbeumo in the 2 number 10 positions, and then I would have put I would have had to put Xerxes down the middle because we've got no other striker. And again, if you look at our bench, one of the comments that I do agree with, if you look at our bench, we don't really have the options to come off the bench in that second half, and that's a big worry for me. That second half, you look at the options we don't have. We can't really call upon anyone to really bring on. We could use Mainu, we could use Agate. We didn't really have the options off that bench to bring on in that second half, and that's a big worry because obviously Maguire is still out injured, Sesko is still injured, Kuhn is still injured. We need all those players back. We need all them back because if we look at our bench isn't that strong and it's a worry. It is a big worry. Our bench is a big, big problem. Also, good to see Xerxes scored today. He needs that for the confidence. Please smash that like button, everybody. Please give me a follow on TikTok if you're watching. Our bench isn't that strong, and that's the big worry going forward. Because once you lose Mazraoui, and thank you for the follow, CR. Once you lose Mazraoui, Ahmad and Mbeumo at that team, you're going to look at that bench. Who's the hell can we bring in? That's the big problem and the big question I've got to ask from United. Are they going to let us go throughout January without Mbeumo and Ahmad and Mazraoui? Are they really going to sacrifice all three of those players to the African Cup of Nations and not have replacements in that squad ready to go? Because if Sesko's not back by January, and nor is Maguire, and nor is Matthias Cunha, we're in big, big trouble. Because you've then got to add Mbeumo, Ahmad, and Mazraoui to all three of them not available, because all of them are at the African Cup of Nations. We could really, really struggle. We could really, really struggle without all of them. CR again has said, I think it's time the academy players who are shining right now to be given a chance. I'm kind of hoping that's what's going to happen, because Shea Lacey is on that bench quite a lot at the moment, and apparently he is doing very, very well at the moment, and that's why he's been included on the bench. But maybe that won't carry on happening if Maguire, Sesko and Cunha all come back fit from injury. So I don't think Shea Lacey's going to be on that United bench very long, but I would like to give him an opportunity maybe on Thursday from the bench in the second half to give him an opportunity and experience of a full-time Premier League game as a full-time Premier League player. That I would like to see happen, but I don't think Ruben Amorim wants to chuck these young players straight in at the deep end yet, which again might be an issue because it shows like he's not really developing any of these young players, which I think is a big worry. Shea Lacey looks very good, been keeping a tab on him. Could you imagine if we never let McTominay or Elanga go? I know, right? Like, a lot of people saying we need to bring back McTominay, but McTominay's level's probably about Napoli's level in Serie A because it's a lot slower league, the football's a lot slower. And as for Elanga, what's he actually done at Newcastle? Like, what's Elanga actually done at Newcastle since he's gone to Newcastle? And James Clayton says that was a big win. Oh yeah, I completely agree with James there. It was a big win. If we didn't win this game today, United would be fucked. We'd be absolutely screwed without this win today. James is absolutely right. He's hit the nail on the head. If we didn't win this game and we lost 1-0, I think Ruben Amorim would have been getting pelters. And I still think he'll be getting pelters tonight because that first half was abysmal. There was nothing special about that first half. Manchester United couldn't create nothing except for those two chances in the first 10 minutes, which, to be fair, Casemiro should score. Casemiro should score both those chances. He should score both those chances. 43 seconds in, and then on the 10th minute, you get two good chances on goal that should go in. But both of them should end up in the net. Could have easily been 2-0 up. Very fortunate to only be a goal down at half-time. Exactly. Again, James has hit the nail on the head. We were lucky we didn't go 2 or 3-0 down because De Ligt slipped and Nketiah had that run on his own, but he fucked it up. If Nketiah's momentum would have carried on with the ball and he would have had control, we would have been 2-0 down quite comfortably and De Ligt would have got absolute pelters. De Ligt's making mistakes. I would say, though, De Ligt is making mistakes. He keeps slipping underfoot and he keeps making mistakes at the back, and that's a big worry because a lot of people rate De Ligt, and apparently he's this world-class centre-back, but he is making mistakes. Ref saved us at the whistle just at half-time too. Exactly. Very fortunate only be a goal down at half-time. Yeah, exactly. Please smash that like button. Please give me a follow on TikTok. Would really appreciate it. We were very lucky. If Nketiah carries on with that momentum, we're 2-0 down. The game would have been gone. The game would have been done. We would have lost that game quite comfortably. And everyone does make mistakes. Yeah, these players are making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes in life. Everybody makes mistakes. Is Lando wrapping it up today? I mean, I'm not going to say anything about the F1, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the Qatar Grand Prix today. Yeah, everybody does make mistakes in that team, but we're just saying that we are very lucky we were only 1-0 down, because if we went 2-0 down, the game would have been gone. There'd have been no way we'd have been able to rescue a point because Crystal Palace would have had the game set up and they probably would have just parked the bus for the whole of the second half to prevent Manchester United from really creating any more attacking opportunities. That's what Palace would have done. If Palace would have found that second goal in the first half, they would have parked the bus for the whole of the second half to prevent us from scoring any goals. So, again, I think the two goals we score are down to Palace defensively. The second one's laughable because the Palace will split like a pack of peas in a pod. And obviously the first goal's down to skill and quality from Xerxes to twist and turn and finish with the ball. And Kevin said, but United could have been 2 up. Yeah, again, Kevin's made a good point in the live chat. We could have been 2-0 up at halftime. If Casemiro took those 2 chances in that first half, we could have been 2-0 up at halftime. We could have won this game quite comfortably and potentially could have gone and found a 3rd or 4th goal. But fair play for obviously finding that momentum to get back into that game, because I think once we went 1-0 down, like I said at the start of this live match reaction, I thought the floodgates were going to open. I thought there's no way we're going to be able to come away from Selhurst Park with nothing today, and it would have been another shit weekend. It would have been back-to-back defeats. It would have been. We've only picked 5 points up from 12, though. That's the thing I would say. Even though we've won today and got the result, we've only picked 5 points up from 12 in our last 4 games. We are 7 points worse off than what we could have been. If we would have won on Monday, it would have been 8 points from 12. And we could have been sat comfortably inside the top 4. And that's the big blow about this result today. Even though we've won, I'm happy. We got the result. We got the 3 points. Don't get me wrong. If we would have won on Monday, that would have been 6 points from 6, 8 points from 12. We could have been comfortably sat inside the top 4 right now. That's what frustrates me. We could have been sat comfortably inside that top 4. Retake a penalty that hits your own foot makes no... Exactly, Kevin makes a good point. How that penalty is being allowed to be retaken is a joke. Why they changed the rules and why they changed the facts for those decision-making is a joke. If we did that, they wouldn't allow us to retake that penalty. But yet Palace are still allowed to carry on and retake that penalty, which makes no sense. Because it's like, oh, so it's one rule for one team and it's one for the other. Kevin's absolutely right. How that penalty is being allowed to be retaken is a joke. Because theoretically, Mateta has committed a foul with the ball. He's double touched the ball with both feet to score that penalty. And even though, right, he takes 2 good penalties, Lemens goes the wrong way for each penalty. That's what annoys me. Lemens goes the wrong way for each penalty that Mateta has. So Mateta's basically been 1 goal away from a hat-trick, if you think about it, because if the first one would have stood, he'd have been 2 goals away from it. And he's then had to retake it again. So Mateta theoretically was on a hat-trick. But again, the penalty should not have been allowed to stand. It should not have been allowed to be retaken. But why they've changed the rules for that type of decision, I just don't really understand why they've changed the rules. That frustrated the hell out of me when he dived opposite. Again, a lot of people are saying this. I have seen a lot of people saying this, that penalty should not have been given. I think we all need to go and look back at that replay and see if there's any contact. Because if Mateta has dived, then that's a bookable offence. If you dive deliberately, it's a straight yellow card. I think we all need to go and have a look at it. And Alec has said, but we won. Exactly. That is the main thing. Completely agree with Alec in the live chat. At least we won. Thank God. At least we won. If we would have lost today, I think I would have lost my shit. If we would have lost today, I think I would have lost my shit today. Because I didn't feel confident in that first half. I felt we were flat. I felt there wasn't really any energy in that team. And again, I just get frustrated with Ruben Amorim's tactics. I get frustrated the way he sets us up. The way we play football, I just don't really understand what we're doing sometimes. I really do not understand what we're trying to do half the time. But a win's a win. 3 points is 3 points. We need to build on this confidence and take it into Thursday. If we don't beat West Ham Thursday, we are shit. But I said we would beat Everton, and we lost. We normally do that. It's becoming a little bit of a problem. The first half stopping and we wake up in the second half. Exactly. We always seem to go a goal down and all of a sudden we then wake up. Why can't we play fucking fantastic football every bloody minute of the game? That's what annoys me. But we should be on the front foot the whole 90. Exactly. Crystal Palace were there in the first half by the 2 chances we had on their goal. They were there for the taking. We started off better. We massively started that game better than them. Crystal Palace did not come out in that first half, started that game well. We were massively the better team. And if we took those 2 chances and we are 2-0 up, we probably don't have any complaints. It's just that penalty. It's just that retaken penalty that I don't think should be allowed to be retaken. That's the thing I've got from this game today, or how that penalty is being allowed to be retaken. That's the thing that's pissed me off the most, because we shouldn't have conceded that goal. And if it's not a foul on Mateta, then that again should be a yellow card for Mateta because he's deliberately dived to win a penalty that wasn't a penalty. But I think we all need to go and have a look at that penalty decision to see if it was a penalty or not. Because if it isn't, then we've been robbed of a clear, clean sheet today as well. And I feel sorry for Lemens. He's gone the wrong way for both penalties he's taken, so he couldn't really do anything about it, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a problem as well. But again, like, we have won. We should have won 3 or 4-0, says Alec. Yeah, we probably should have. I completely agree. The free kick in the end of the game that Cas gave away had me stressed. Oh, don't get me started on the Casemiro free kick he gave away at the end. Especially when it was right on the edge of our D. I was like, this is going to end up going in it? This is going to end up going in. I just had a really, really bad feeling about when he gave away that free kick. I thought, oh my days, here we go again. He's going to end up doing something really, really stupid, or this is going to end up in the net, isn't it? That's the feeling I got when that free kick got awarded outside our box. It's like, this is going to end up in. This is going to be Elise all over again. He's always done something stupid. He's either been booked, sent off, or giving away set pieces. Exactly. But that's because our midfield two's too fucking slow. A fucking snail could do better in our midfield, and a snail is as slow as those two. Like, playing Bruno in a deep line midfield role doesn't work. It's the same for Casemiro. It doesn't work. They both clearly miss that extra third man in that midfield three. They do miss that, and I think that's where we're going wrong. We haven't got that extra man in the midfield to support Casemiro and Fernandes, and this is why the midfield gets walked through week in, week out. It gets walked through because there's not that extra man there to help Casemiro and help Fernandes. But Fernandes is suffering because he's not in the number 10 position with Mbeumo and Mount. And then you've got Mbeumo and Mount behind Xerxes. You can't really do anything there to put Bruno in that position. It's the same for Ahmad. You can play Ahmad in the number 10 or you can put him at right wing back. And again, I don't feel like Ahmad's a good player, but I'm not seeing the best out of him at the moment. Deleu's taking absolute bin. Yeah, because Deleu's crap, mate. That's because Deleu's a load of crap, buddy. Deleu isn't any good. I've been saying it since Deleu's been here. Like, a lot of people know I can't stand Deleu in that team. I can't stand Diego Deleu. I don't think, what does he offer? In my opinion, what does Deleu actually offer in that team? Because I really, really don't understand what it does. I really don't understand. Like, 1 point off Arsenal. I think we're miles off Arsenal at the moment. If I'm being really honest, I don't think we're anywhere near Arsenal at the moment. We're 8 points off Arsenal. So I think, to be honest with you, if we can just get top 4 and we can get an FA Cup one, then that might be a positive season. But I don't really want to have to not be in Europe again for the second season running. We're 8 points off Arsenal. We are up to 6th now, which is fantastic because results so far are going our way. Because if you look at the current games at the moment, Aston Villa 0, Wolves 0, Forest 0, Brighton 0, West Ham 0, Liverpool 0. So it's actually going. The results are going our way at the moment. We are above Palace. Villa are above us by a point, and so are Sunderland. We're 2 points off Chelsea, 4 points off Man City. So the weekend has actually been a good one. The weekend has been a fantastic weekend so far. Yeah, the Liverpool... it was 2 messages in one. Okay, yeah, TikTok likes to filter the live chat sometimes, unfortunately. Yeah, we're 1 point off Arsenal. Liverpool game is still 0-0 with West Ham, which is not a bad result for West Ham, but Liverpool should be beating them because West Ham are crap. I think we can't really have too much complaints about the second half. We deserve to win. We deserve the result. We deserve the 3 points. I don't think anybody's got any complaints. I don't think anybody can have too many complaints about the second half. I think Manchester United deserved the win. We deserved the 3 points. Palace fell asleep in that second half, and the 2 goals they conceded are both massively preventable. Like, I thought the first goal they conceded was bad, but the second one really takes the biscuit. The second goal was crazy from a Palace point of view. It was still weird to see Mount in a Man United kit. My weekend will be topped if Liverpool lose. But yeah, we can't have too many complaints from today. We deserved to win that game. We were massively the better team in the second half, and Manchester United had come away with all 3 points. But it just annoys me. We've won today, but we couldn't beat Everton on Monday. That is what annoys me. If we can beat Palace, why the fuck could we not do this on Monday against Everton with 10 players? That's what infuriates me. That's what confuses the hell out of me, because we could have had 6 points from 6. we could have been comfortably inside the top 4. But we have. Are you going to watch the F1? Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm watching the F1. I'm looking forward to it. We've got the F1 on in about an hour, so yeah, absolutely. I'm watching the F1. And I think if you're going to give player of the match to anybody, then you're going to have to give it to Bruno Fernandes because he's provided 2 assists. He's gone above Paul Scholes now on assist records for Manchester United Football Club on the all-time list. And he's provided the 2 goals that we needed, but the 2 assists he's provided for Xerxes and Mount. So it's like the Europa League final. We played so bad in the last game of this season. We dominated Villa exactly because there was no pressure. There was no pressure in that moment to not win that game. So that's why we beat Villa. But yeah, I think if you're going to give player of the match, it goes to Bruno Fernandes. He delivered a masterclass in that second half. He provided 2 great assists for 2 great goals that we scored. Fair play to Xerxes. Fair play to Mason Mount. United won 2-1 at Crystal Palace. It's our first win at Selhurst Park for over 5 years. So we take that momentum, we take that confidence, we take that to Old Trafford on Thursday, and we beat West Ham at Old Trafford. That's what needs to happen there. We need to go back-to-back wins now. Why did we sell Dean Henderson, not use him instead of buying Onana? Well, that was down to the Man United board, and that was down to Woodward and Arnold and the Glazers, unfortunately. So that's what I have to say on the Dean Henderson situation. So I hope you enjoyed this match reaction. Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 2. Remember to smash that like button. Please give me a follow on TikTok. We finally have a win at the weekend, which is good. Hopefully we can take this momentum into Thursday night against West Ham at Old Trafford, which is a Thursday night kickoff. I think it's a 8:15 or an 8 o'clock kickoff on Thursday night, so make sure that you tune into that. And we'll be live with the match reaction on Thursday evening once the full-time whistle goes from Old Trafford on Thursday night. But we beat Crystal Palace 2-1. We deserved to win the game. We were massively the better team. Bruno Fernandes delivered a masterclass in that second half to provide 2 amazing assists to get Xerxes and Mount off the score sheet for their first goals of the Premier League season. We've won 2-1. It's our first win at Palace for 5 years, which is remarkable. We haven't won there for nearly 5 years, but that record is now gone. We take this momentum, we take it to Old Trafford on Thursday night, we beat West Ham, we get back-to-back wins, get 6 points from 6, and hopefully the week and next week is going to look a little bit better. And it's nice to actually have a win at the weekend as well. It's nice to actually have a good win at the weekend as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this match reaction. Please follow me on TikTok. Please smash that like button. We'll be back with the match reaction on Thursday night once the full-time whistle goes from Old Trafford against West Ham. Enjoy the rest of your days, whatever you guys are all doing. Stay safe, be nice, be kind to each other. You're all legends, you're all legendary, and I'll see you all on the next one. Stay safe, everybody.